Have you ever walked out of a meeting thinking that should have been addressed, but you didn't say anything and maybe no one else did either? So the conversation moved on, the issue stayed, and everyone silently adjusted around it. Here's the reality most leaders don't want to admit. When you don't address something, you are addressing it, just not in the way that you think. Welcome to the Deliberate Leaders Podcast. I'm Allison Dunn, and today we're talking about the cost of neutral leadership and why saying nothing is often the loudest message in the room. Neutral leadership doesn't look like poor leadership. It actually looks reasonable. You stay calm, you avoid overreacting, you give people space, you don't want to create tension where it might not be necessary. On the surface, it feels thoughtful, even measured. But underneath, it often shows up like this. You notice a team member underperforming, but you wait. You hear something misaligned in a meeting, but you let it pass. You see a behavior that doesn't match your standards, but assume it'll correct itself. And over time, something subtle starts to happen. Your team begins to take cues not from what you say, but from what you don't say. Every moment of neutral leadership sends a signal, and the signal is this. This might be okay, even when it's not. This is how culture quietly drifts, not through one big breakdown, but through a series of small moments that were never addressed. Standards blur, ownership softens, clarity fades, and here's the part that catches most leaders off guard. Your strong team members feel it first. They notice the inconsistency. They feel the gap between what's expected and what's tolerated. And eventually, they start asking themselves, why am I holding the standard if no one else here is going to? That's the cost, not just performance, but the trust. So why do smart leaders, capable leaders, stay neutral? It's rarely about not knowing. It's about what's underneath, avoiding discomfort, not wanting to damage relationships, hoping the issue resolves itself, or simply moving too fast to stop and address it properly. In Think First, we talk about one of the most common leadership traps. It's called autopilot, where your instincts take over and your default becomes your avoidance instead of your intention. Neutral leadership often isn't a strategy, it's a reaction. So what's the shift? It's not about becoming overly critical or reactive. It's about becoming deliberate. There's a simple lens I coach leaders to use. If I don't address this, what am I teaching my team? Because every moment is teaching something. Silence teaches, delay teaches, avoidance teaches, and once you start seeing it that way, your role changes. You are no longer deciding if something needs to be addressed. You're deciding how to address it in a way that reinforces clarity, standards, and trust. Sometimes that's a direct conversation. Sometimes it's asking better questions. Sometimes it's simply naming what everyone else is already seeing. But the key is this. You don't let the moment pass without intention. If this resonates with you, here's a simple question to take with you today. What am I currently not addressing that my team is already noticing? Start there, because the cost of neutral leadership isn't immediate, it's cumulative. And over time, it becomes culture. If you want to go deeper into this kind of thinking, this is exactly what I wrote about in my book, Think First. It's designed to help you slow down just enough to see what's happening so that you can lead with clarity instead of reaction. You can learn more about it at Deliberate Directions. Think First. Thanks for listening, and as always, think first and be deliberate.